You stopped respecting yourself the moment you started explaining your worth to people who never earned the right to hear it. You lowered your voice. You shrunk your power. You waited for permission to exist. And now, you wonder why everything feels so empty. Why she left. Why your purpose dissolved. Why your reflection looks like a stranger. You didn't lose her. You didn't lose your edge. You lost you. And deep down, you know it. There's a silence that no one talks about. A silence that creeps in when you stop being who you were meant to be. It doesn't scream. It waits. It settles into your bones like cold. You wake up with it. You eat with it. You go to work, smile at people, scroll through your feed with it. But inside, something is dying. It's not depression. Not exactly. It's not loneliness either. It's disconnection from your own masculine energy, from your own drive, from the part of you that builds, fights, conquers. And it started when you gave too much to people who never gave back. When you stayed quiet just to keep the peace. When you stopped training, stopped reading, stopped doing the hard things. You thought life would reward you for being nice. But the world isn't kind to a man who abandons himself. She doesn't stay for comfort. She stays for strength, for certainty, for respect, not just hers, yours. But now, you've let it all go. The discipline, the edge, the mission. You tell yourself you're tired, busy, lost, but the truth is simpler. You stopped respecting yourself. And when that happened, everything else followed. You didn't fall. You sank. Not because you were weak, but because you forgot that strength isn't a gift, and it's a decision made every day without applause, without validation, without her. And if this is hurting to hear, good. It means the fire's still there. This isn't about heartbreak. It's about identity. It's about why you let yourself fall so far. Why the man in the mirror looks softer, duller, smaller. Why your confidence is gone. Why your masculinity feels like a mask instead of a force. The truth? She left because you did. You stopped showing up. Not just for her, for you. And when a man gives up on himself, the world follows. Friends grow distant, respect fades, desire dies. She didn't want perfection, she wanted presence, but you were scrolling. You were chasing dopamine, not purpose. You were more interested in being liked than being whole. And it shows in how you walk, how you talk, how you can't look people in the eye anymore. This is the cost of self-betrayal, the price of comfort, the death of the alpha mindset, because how to be a man isn't taught. It's forged in silence, in suffering, in self-respect. So no, this isn't about her. This isn't about why she left. This is about why you left yourself, and if you don't wake up, you won't just lose relationships, you'll lose your soul. You used to feel alive, you remember that? Not distracted, not numb, alive. Like your blood meant something, like your time mattered. You used to look in the mirror and see someone becoming, someone going somewhere. Now, you avoid the mirror completely, because the man staring back looks passive, tamed, domesticated. You weren't meant to live like this. You weren't built to shrink, to sit in rooms full of noise pretending everything's fine, to laugh at jokes you don't believe in, to spend hours numbing yourself with screens, junk food, porn, anything to escape the silence. But the silence isn't your enemy. It's the last place where truth still speaks. And here's the truth. You've been running from responsibility, from discipline, from pain. But pain is the only thing that wakes you up. That fire in your chest when you lose. That pressure in your lungs when you know you've wasted another day. That ache in your gut when she looks at you and sees nothing. You think the world is unfair? It is. But that doesn't matter. You don't get to negotiate with life. You meet it. With force. With stillness. With presence. That's masculine energy. That's self-respect. You reclaim it every time you say no to weakness. Every time you train when your body says rest. Every time you walk away from cheap pleasure and toward a mission that hurts to chase but heals to achieve. You want to be respected? Then do something respectable. Alone. Without validation. Without applause. She's not coming back for your promises. She's watching your patterns, and so is life. You remember the moment it shifted. Maybe it was subtle. Maybe it was loud. But something cracked. She stopped looking at you the same way. Stopped leaning in. Stopped believing. Not because she changed, but because you did. Hunger in your eyes was gone. The silence you once filled with presence, now filled with excuses. You traded your purpose for comfort, and she felt it, because women don't follow words. They follow weight. The weight of your focus, the weight of your decisions, the weight of your ability to choose yourself when no one else will. You can't fake masculine energy, not with her, not with yourself. And when that energy fades, rejection follows. She doesn't leave because she stopped loving you. She leaves because you stopped being lovable, not in charm, but in depth. And every man has to face that moment, when the mirror doesn't lie, when your stomach turns because you know. You let this happen and still, this is not where your story ends, because this isn't about regret. It's about resurrection. You don't get the old life back. You don't get her back. You get you back. And that's the only thing that matters. Now it starts small. You wake up earlier. You stop explaining. You train. You listen to silence. You write the truth down. Even if your hands shake. You reclaim self-respect by earning it. One action at a time. One broken promise replaced by a real one. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll crave her comfort, her voice, the version of you that was easier to be. But easy got you here. Hard will get you out. So bleed. Grind. Get up earlier than your demons. No one's coming to fix you. Not your boys. It's not God. You want respect? Be worthy of it. Every single day. There's a version of you waiting. A version that doesn't flinch. Doesn't chase. Doesn't beg to be seen. He walks differently. He speaks with fewer words and heavier silence. He doesn't need to prove himself, because he knows himself. But that version won't come find you. You have to kill the one you are now, to become him. The weak voice in your head, that's not you. That's the echo of comfort whispering you back into chains. Let it die. Let the boy who needs approval die. Let the man who hides behind his pain die. Let the soft, passive, lost version of yourself die. And from that funeral, let a warrior rise. One who holds his own standard. One who doesn't need her to stay, because he never needed her to begin with. He wanted her, but he never needed anyone. You want to know why she stopped craving you? Because you stopped being someone worth craving. You used to walk like a storm. Now you scroll like a ghost. But you can change that. Right now. Today. Get back in the gym. Pick up the book. Block her number. Write your mission. Sit in solitude until your mind goes quiet and your fire speaks. Masculinity isn't aggression. It's direction. It's silence filled with certainty. It's heartbreak turned into hunger. So let the pain shape you. Let the loneliness build you. Let the rejection refine your focus. Because this time, you're not doing it to impress her. You're doing it to remember who you are. She doesn't miss you. She misses who you used to be, and deep down, and so do you. You weren't forgotten. You were replaced. By a man who lost his fire. By someone easier to leave. She cried in silence long before she walked away. But you were too distracted to hear it. And now, you scroll through her photos. But she scrolls past the memory of you because men who don't respect themselves fade. You think it's not fair? Fairness isn't part of the deal. Respect is. And you lost yours the moment you chose comfort over character. You want her back. But what you really need is to get you back, because this was never about her. It was always about the man staring back at you when no one else is watching. The man who knows the truth, knows the lies, knows the price of every wasted day. You kept waiting for something outside of you to change, for her to call, for life to slow down, for a sign. But the only sign you need is the ache in your chest when you realize you betrayed yourself. Not in one moment, but in 1,000 small choices. The skipped workouts, the silence when you needed to speak, the scrolling, the sleeping in, the fake smiles. You stopped leading. You stopped being a man. But listen, that doesn't mean you're done. It means you're at the beginning of the hardest chapter, and the most necessary one, where you rise with no one clapping, where you suffer in silence and still choose discipline, where you bury your old self and build a new one with blood and purpose. This is the work no one sees, the work no one thanks you for, the work that makes you dangerous again. You don't need her approval. You need your own. And when you earn it, when you walk like you're whole again, you won't have to chase respect. It will follow you. Because the man who respects himself commands the world without speaking. If this cut deep, don't just scroll. Write something. Scream it if you have to. Let the algorithm hear you. Let her hear you. Because maybe this isn't just a video. Maybe this is where you come back to life.